To be a Christian writer, there's several concepts that we have to consider. In the first place, we have to consider what our worldview looks like. So as a Christian, one who believes, incarnationally, that God came to man, through the person of Jesus Christ, and entered the world to die on a cross, to be resurrected, and now sits at the right hand of the Father. This generalized, theology of Christianity, or very summarized theology of Christianity, really sits at the root of what a Christian writer is, for a couple of reasons. And so for one reason, our worldview is being expressed through our writing. That doesn't mean as a Christian writer we're not trying to create a subcategory of literature. We're not trying to create this sanitized, G-rated, Sunday school material, as a Christian writer. Obviously the flip side, isn't that, trying to be in any way, outlandish, to get attention. But sometimes people think the idea of being a Christian writer is that we're making this sanitized sub-genre of literature that really the audience is maybe, some Christian children or some, Christian families. And while that's not necessarily entirely a bad thing, that's not really the vision that we have as a Christian writer. Really, what we're talking about as a Christian writer, we're talking about, communicating through this medium that we call language, words, in a way that is touching a person's soul. But you can't escape the fact that as a Christian, that worldview is going to come through. Even if you're not writing about, particular Christian issues, that worldview is going to come out. And so as a Christian writer, the Christian side of us has a worldview, and that is that there is a God, that Christ is Lord over all, and so that worldview comes through. But then on the writer side, as a writer typically loves words. They love the way language works. They love the way that stories inform and teach, and they love the way poetry, incites and enlightens and delights. And so words are very meaningful, to a writer. We love to communicate. We love to contemplate, to really think about ideas, and then those ideas sometimes get worked out through the written word. And so kind of joining these two together as a Christian writer, what we're thinking about is the fact that we are people of the word, right? There's this incarnation, and there's a sense in which, Tolkien said we're sub-creators. We're entering into another world that we create through our writing. And so we're in many ways imitating God. We're certainly not God, because God creates ex nihilo. He creates out of nothing. But we're creating with that which God has given us, this language God has given us, to create worlds and stories that communicate ideas. And as a Christian, those ideas obviously are going to be grounded and rooted, in the Christian gospel and the Christian message.